Hello.
Woo!
Week one rankings.
Week one rankings. That's crazy. It feels like this season has been going on for a million
Honestly,
bajillion
it feels like we drafted
years.
like forever ago. It was like 3 days ago, 4 days
It
ago.
feels bizarre. Um, Literally to give a quick little recap of just like not like what happened. Like you'll see what's in the episodes as well as like played the game. So you know at this point. But at least from our perspective, game started first 2 days, slowest of all slow things ever. Small talk city. No one's doing anything. And then day three, in the words of Hanachata, this is a good twist. And things blow up because Ariel is on the block and going home. But newsflash, Mira, aka Dalton, is tied to Ariel and can't have her go home. Otherwise, he goes home as well. So he is trying to save himself. He's like throwing like shit at the wall to hope that something sticks, and something does, which is Brett's name. Literally insanity. Brett robbed, Brett for second chances. It was absolutely insanity. Um, and I can't wait to dive into where everyone is standing in the house.
Let's do it. Starting with Aaron.
Okay.
Aaron's an interesting one because I don't think he's come out as strongly as some other people. But don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You want to go? Start
Yeah,
first.
I agree with that. I think what's been really interesting about this first week of the game is each day, all 16 of these people, for the most part, like eh, everyone has been playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't had to deal with anyone like not literally playing the game, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone's playing it so differently, and everyone has played it at different times. Where Aaron's day one was, I thought, very, very strong. I think he, of most people, was actually probably one of the stronger
Mm-hmm.
day one performances in terms of talking to people immediately, introducing himself. Hi, I'm Aaron. Let's talk about some things. Great. Then that kind of fell off on day two and day three. And then, like, he's not involved in any of the game structures or alliances or anything. But that being said, everyone has kind of referred to him as like, oh, and like I can check in with Aaron because I've been talking with Aaron. Like, you know what I mean? So like the way in my mind that like he's been positioned is like, whereas last season Brady was on opposite planet where everything happened opposite because she was delusional.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron is like playing the game that is happening in this house, but he's playing on like a different plane where it's like he's not included in or doesn't know like any of the game talk or strategy that's going on, but like he's still like in it and involved. Like, it's like confusing.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with all that. And I think that like especially in a season where everybody is coming out of asterisks, everybody coming out of the gates like guns blazing. I think Aaron being really social and connecting with people on specific points while also not like making himself too much of a name is good. I think a lot of people have said like, "Oh, I like Aaron. I enjoy talking with Aaron," and that's good enough for me for right now. Honestly, like that's good enough for me. I'm gonna give Aaron a 6 for week one.
Yeah. The big
It's a
thing
good
that
place to start.
the big thing that has really happened this season, that at least it looks like how the beginning of the season is going to be run, is these first, like in my mind right now, the pre-jury boots are going to be combinations of two things. One, big out in front threats that have been exposed for things or are exposing things, or two, the exact opposite, the people that just are not putting in enough work. And Aaron is doing all of the social work without any of the
Mm.
alliance building,
Yep.
which I think in the long run will mean that he could get scooped up into things. Heading into week two, we've seen that begin to happen. It hasn't yet. I locked in my scores right after the eviction. I'm at a 5 for Aaron, but I
Okay.
agree that 6 is totally reasonable and great.
Good. Um, yeah, I mean, good spot for Aaron. I think that he's gonna be able to, as long as he continues this. I don't think Aaron will be someone that's used as a pawn quite often, at least from this standpoint right here.
Right, especially in the pre-jury right now, I
Yeah,
think he's too much of like he's no one's number one, but he's like everyone's
exactly.
like crucial side piece of like, oh, and then we can bring in Aaron. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I completely agree with you.
Ariel,
Oh, your first pick
I
overall.
know. I want to. I want. I have to be careful from who from last season is watching this. I want to be clear. Like, I really like Ariel. Like, and I'm not gonna go on what I was gonna say, but um,
I know what you were gonna say. T.
I actually do really like her, and like the few times that she's on, I enjoy like her energy and what she brings. I just wish she was able to bring a little more often, which sucks because that's why she was on the block and that's why she almost went home this week. Really, if
Really should have gone home this week.
yeah, really should have gone home this week. I mean, Ariel, I don't know really what much there is to say, but I'm assuming you have stuff to say. But
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the great thing. And like what we said about like everyone actually playing the game, Ariel is definitely the person that has played it the least. But
mhm.
that being said, she has reached out to people. And when it comes time for things like competitions or voting or sending
Mhm.
speeches, like she is like so like on it and like she is like willing to
Yeah,
play and wanting to play. I think at this point she's like, oh, this is a lot for me to like really keep up with and thrive in. So you know what? I'm here for when I'm here. And when I go, I go. And I think she should have gone in this first week. However, her being tied to Mira slash Dalton is what saved her and why everything got exposed and yada yada yada. I would be personally, and I put this like this is disregarding what has happened in week two so far. I would be surprised if she made it through week two
mhm.
because going into next week, there's no reason for anyone to protect her anymore. Um, so yeah, I gave my score first for this. My score for Ariel this week is going to be a 2, which is very sad, but love you, Ariel girl. I want to be part of your world. And yes, that was an Ariel pun.
Anyway, um, yeah, Ariel. I mean, it's really unfortunate because I really do like her, and I think what you said was true in that she's here for what she is here for, and that's okay. And I honestly like that's not like the worst energy for me in the world. I
Exactly.
She has never been like begrudgingly here. Like
I,
when she's
I'm
here,
not upset that Ariel's in the game.
and she's probably the person, maybe with one other person who's probably doing the least in the game right now. And if that's our least, like we have a good cast. Like
I'll
that's a
take it. Exactly.
so. I'm also going to be at a 2 for Ariel, just because quite literally nothing. That's my reasoning. But also, okay, never mind.
Justice for Ariel. I'll be very interested to see. Like, we're not going to get any more from her. But that being said, I'll be really interested to see, like, people have gone far into the game playing, like, this type of game. You know what I mean? She's just going to need someone to be like, let me scoop you up, just do what I say, and, like, come along for the ride. Like, you know what I mean? She doesn't
This
have that.
this was the story that I was going to tell you over the phone, but I'll tell you now because it's kind of relevant. I delivered food unknowingly to my a graduation party my mom was at, and so when people knew that like my mom was there, and like people start talking about it or whatever, this dad goes, "Hey, do you know Sarah McGovern?" And I was like, "Absolutely." I was like, "Absolutely, I do." So kind of relevance right now, but
Shout
yeah.
out, Sarah, queen of season 3.
I was like,
I
"Do I know
friend
Sarah
of
McGovern?"
forever.
Holy shit, do I know Sarah McGovern?
Only Big Brother SS's season 3 sixth place legend of doing absolutely nothing.
That was a holy shit pun. Nobody got that. Okay.
Um, awesome. Well, with that being said, I think we can move on.
I agree. You guys are talking about Brett.
Brett. Oh my gosh. Brett, let's talk about Brett. I that is what we're doing.
Talk about Brett.
Literally robbed. I've never seen someone go from, in my opinion, literally the best position in the house to literally public enemy number one.
You've never
For
seen that, Scott?
almost literally no, for no reason in the span of
Scott,
24
you've
hours.
never seen that, really?
I have never seen that.
What
To go,
about what about Eric? I was just gonna say, I feel like this is almost identical to the Eric situation.
that's so funny. You're so right about that. You're very right. This is very much like the Eric
Eric,
situation.
in the same way that it's like, yes, he did stuff, but like it wasn't. It was like he shouldn't have been blamed to the degree that he was.
He should have been blamed to the degree. Um, a lot of his game, like truthfully, he really did not do anything wrong in my opinion. Of course, exposing alliances, like sure, not great, but to one person who was giving you trust, who actually did trust Brett, like it was fine. It was fine, and he had like everyone. He was in a great spot. At one point, he was absolutely my highest rated player of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the veto did not go to plan. And
I don't think he was
he
over there.
was the person that just got thrown under the bus so that Dalton could stay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought his campaign was great. I thought the fact that he almost had the votes was insane.
Mm-hmm.
I thought his social game was great. His strategy, like everything made sense. Everything was there. He just got so royally screwed. And I don't know if this makes it like better or worse in hindsight, Brett, if you're watching this, but like know that like you literally just like you just got screwed by the circumstances.
Yeah.
That's all that it was because you really did not do anything wrong, and it was just spun to make it like you did because Dalton needed to save himself.
I was gonna say honestly, if the twist didn't exist, or even if Dalton picked somebody different this week, like you would have been probably very late in the game.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So
Um,
kind of.
so because of that, easily going to be one of the higher slash highest rated evictees in
Yeah.
like the history of Big Brother SS. I'm only going to give Brett a 3 because I thought he played great. He was screwed by the circumstances. He had all the allies, a great campaign, but he is unfortunately the first boot of the season.
Yeah. A 3 is what I had him at too. I agree. I don't think this is the like very
It's
high.
probably not the highest, but it's definitely like up there.
I agree with everything you said. Like he really just got screwed by the circumstances. Like that's exactly right. And I do foresee him possibly coming back. So I think he just really got dealt a really bad hand that he kind of was forced to get. And like
Well, no, it wasn't even that
it wasn't like a bad hand. It was just
hand.
like
He was dealt a hand, and then Dalton said, "Everyone, look at his hand."
yeah,
That's
exactly.
what happened.
Okay.
Speaking of being screwed by the circumstances, here are the circumstances.
Okay, I think this is going to be really interesting.
I think our scores are going to be wildly different here.
I don't think they're going to be as different as you think they're going to be. But I think I have different things to say than you.
So let's talk about Mira, aka Dalton, winner of season 8. So let's walk through the week because let's get this out of the out of the way first. The fact that Dalton is still in this game proves that Dalton is one of the best winners to ever play our franchise in the history of ever. Like he really should not have stayed. This was absolutely insane. That being said, the stuff that he had to pull to stay, impressive that he did stay, but the game is not won on day 4. The game is won on day 31. And granted, the alternative could have been he's going home. So like he needed to do something, but he's definitely not in even close to a remotely good position right now. After Ariel went up, he immediately started trying to come up with ways to pin the vote on Nicole and then get Kate nominated and then get Brett nominated and just all of these things. I think if he took it just a little bit, even just waiting until after the veto was won, or after hearing maybe what Logan was thinking about with his options, if he just took it a little bit slower, I do not think we would have hit this mess. And I do think he still could have pulled it off, even with Brett or even other options. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So gameplay was definitely messier than it needed to be. However, I get it. It's stressful and the gut reaction is just, okay, we gotta go, 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 go. And if he didn't go, 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 then he would have been out the door because Ariel, bless her heart, did not do anything to save herself.
You finished?
Finish my initial thoughts. Do you?
Um, I mean, I okay. I don't initially disagree with anything you've said. I think that I agree with the fact that he's still here is great points to him, and it could have been gone about in a better way. I think I'm weighing it differently because I think we agree on that, but I'm saying that I think that he needed to stay so bad. Like he had to do something. Like that was the main priority, staying. Setting himself up really was not the main priority. The main priority was staying in the game. So I do understand, and I think it's also important to note that it's like he doesn't have all the information. He doesn't know exactly what's happening. Um, so I think that him going balls to the wall and doing it, I don't necessarily fault him for that. Probably as high as you're going to. I definitely do, but not probably to the same degree. I think that getting Brett to go on the block was not the wrong move. I think,
I can agree that it was not the wrong move.
and who would you say the right move would be?
I don't think there is a right move that had been presented on the table yet. I think
Mm.
the right move would have been the following two things being one, I just think being less impulsive. I think if we were gonna
I
go
agree with
down
that. I can agree with that.
Brett route, I think we could have gone down the Brett route without throwing Nicole under the bus, without throwing Kate under the bus, and without exposing everything to everyone until something
Yes,
stuck. I think
I
we needed to focus in on Logan and then like maybe
pick a
just
plan and stick
Leo,
with it.
like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You needed to come up with a well thought out plan and
Mhm.
he just like did things and like if it didn't work out then we would try something else immediately but then we would go back on it.
Mhm.
So it wasn't necessarily that I think he made the wrong move. I just think he made the right move in a wrong way maybe.
Okay, gotcha.
um I think what maybe would have been best was I think the first thing that should have happened was wait till the veto, talk to Logan about options, and see if you can build a case off of who Logan is going to put up.
Gotcha.
If you can't, then let's go this route. So
Because I
yeah.
think if you let Logan and Simona decide, and if Emma ends up going up on the block, I think Emma staying to Ariel is much more likely than Brett staying to Ariel.
Yes, but also Brett was the most connected person in the house that Dawn was able to spin on. Like I think Dalton could have
But Emma didn't do anything to. I mean, granted, Brett didn't either. I understand,
like yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
but Brett was in the conversation still. Emma hasn't spoken about the game,
Yeah.
so I think that I think he needed to do what he needed to do, and he's still here, and we're gonna see how it goes from here. Is my thing.
Now looking forward though, you've got the people that are die hard not going to go for Mira. Those being like Logan, Nosha, Teddy,
Maybe.
Makai. And then you've got the people that are like, let's get Mira out of here next. The Kates, the Nicoles, the Wills. So like it is very split. Such a controversial figure right now that like don't get me wrong, extremely impressive that he's still here, but I can't give it a high score because he's in such a bad spot right now.
See, that's why I try to weigh with rankings. Is like I feel like I have to give some credit for him still being here.
I agree, and I'm giving some credit, but for me, it's like my ranking is like For me, I'm ranking for where your position is going into the following week and your longevity in the game. And it's like I like the fact that he's still here means that he's not getting like a 1 or a 2 from me.
Mm-hmm.
But like despite this, like if it was based off of like impressiveness of gameplay, like this is like an 8 level,
Yeah, that's not what I was.
like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like I just think he's in the move was impressive, but it wasn't that great because it left him in this position. You know what I mean? So like I don't think it was that great,
Yes,
but
but I disagree.
it was
So I'm
impressive.
giving him a 5.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, we do differ a little bit. I have locked in as Dalton at a 3.
Okay. And like you said, there are people who want him here and there are people who want him gone.
Yeah.
He's not a dead man walk. Like he's not the house's #1 target.
Well, I would say he is the House's #1 target, but the question is, do people want to take the shot at the House's #1 target?
Mhm.
And I think that not everyone does. As proven by what's happening or what seems to be happening in week 2, but we'll talk about that later. Alrighty, moving on to
Emma.
Emma. I
Great.
can start on Emma.
Yeah, go for it.
So Emma, really, really sweet. What's funny to me is like Ariel has definitely done less in the game, but in the same way that like Wyoming is like the state that like everyone forgets, at least it has like that going for it. Like Ariel is the player that like doesn't do anything. Like
Emma's like the Iowa.
people actually forget that Emma's there.
Mm-hmm.
When it came down to the vote was so close. It was like going to be 7-6 at one point. Not only did no one talk to Emma about the vote, no one even like said in their conversations, like, oh, let's pull in Emma. Emma's a person that's like literally she was just completely forgotten about and has only been brainwashed by the catfish that is Mira. So it like she's just completely out of it. Um I don't know what else there is to say because she has no allies. She has no one protecting her. And I think where people are looking to like scoop up Ariel, like people are looking to give Ariel a chance because she is the player that isn't here. No one's looking to give Emma a chance or work with Emma or talk with Emma or talk about Emma or using like you know what I mean? It's just like crazy. The fact that she wasn't even brought up to like be involved in either side of the vote is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
No, neither side counted her as a number.
Mm-hmm.
It was bizarre. So I mean, I'm gonna just continue down my lovely line of threes. 3 threes in a row. I'm giving Emma a 3 this week.
Yeah. I think that comparatively across this season, that's where I would go. But looking back to my past season's rankings, especially when we have this kind of player in the first week, I feel like I traditionally go for a 4. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go for a 4 on Emma because I agree again with everything you said. She really is going to have to start like doing something, talking at least a little game. Like she was nominated today, and I saw her talking to some. Can I say
Well,
this?
let's not talk about week 2 yet,
But I feel like this is just a good representation of what she's doing.
yeah.
Like she was nominated today, and she was in a conversation with someone, and they're still talking about not the game. Like you're just got nominated. She didn't even like acknowledge that she was nominated. So I
And not even that, but the person that she was having the conversation with, when her face came up in the chat, texted someone, "Who is that?"
so that's right. And we're gonna see if things change. I mean, like, we'll see. I don't have anything else to say. We have a lot of red here. I'm gonna assume that's gonna change, hopefully. Um, Further down
Yes.
the line. I think it's gonna be red and green, to be honest.
So moving on to
Yeah.
Kate.
I love
I love
Kate.
Kate. I love Kate. I'm a Kate fan.
This is a
here.
Kate Stan account.
This is a Kate Stan. Is that what I said yesterday? I said it for someone. No, I said it for someone else, and we'll get to that person. But
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I love a lot of these people. Like, this is
I do love a lot of, and like that's the thing. Like Ariel and like again, I would take them over a lot of the people that we've had in the past.
yes, and it's like Ariel's been oh, I don't know if I can handle this. Like, I might have to like ask you. Like, people like we have nobody that's like I don't want to play anymore, which is like a win. That is a win in my book. But keep going. Sorry about Kate.
Um, Kate has done, I think, very, very, very well. Starting the game, I think she was the person that socially did the best in terms of talking with people and like forming actual bonds with them and getting to know them. And like in hearing our conversations with people and like what she said in the diary room, like that is what she's here to like. She is here to like meet people, make new friends, and then like play the game with them, but like here to meet people and make new friends. And I think that's like not a bad strategy at all. It
Mm-hmm.
has won people the game before. I said in the draft that she reminds me a lot of Emma McIntyre, and I 100% stand by that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if Emma McIntyre was like, if like Emma McIntyre was like the iPhone 4, Kate is the iPhone 5. You know what I mean?
No,
Like, no, she just like upgrade it. Like there is because like Kate is playing the game as well. You know what I mean? Um,
I mean we are on the iPhone 14, but sure.
okay, whatever generation it is. I just mean that Kate is the upgrade.
Okay, I get
In terms of the
it.
type of player. Um, the only I would have had her higher, but we can't ignore the fact that there was absolutely a hiccup and a portion of time where Dalton was like gunning for her and her name was spinning out there for a little bit. But that being said, Dalton had to switch it because not a single person grabbed onto it and was like, yes, I want to get rid of Kate. In
Mhm.
fact, every time Kate's name was brought up, it was pretty much like, oh yeah, we could do that because I guess her and Nicole are close, but like, what if like no, you know what I mean? Like, so people really didn't grab onto it. I feel very positively about Kate looking forward. I think this idea that her name's been thrown out there is only going to help her because in actuality, no one's actually been targeting her, and I think it makes her appear as maybe like less of a threat. Um, but I think she's very well connected. I think she's very well liked. I think her biggest weakness is going to be inexperience in the game, and we talked about that a lot in the draft. The more experience you have, the more you know what you're doing. I think the better you're going to be long term. But I think for right now, she's doing pretty well. I'm
Mhm.
going to give Kate a 6 this week. I feel pretty good about where she is at.
Yeah, I think honestly, looking at the rest of the people here, I feel like Kate is one of the people that I feel the best with. Just when I was on calls with her this week and with other people, and just the way she like talks to people about the game, even if she's a little inexperienced, like the way she talks about the game is like something that I can see going towards the end of the game.
She gets it.
She gets it. She knows what she has to do. She's not overplaying. she I always say this about Erin Donner. Erin would always consider all of her options, no matter what the circumstance was. She would always consider every play. She got on FaceTime with Nicole um, before the eviction and was like, sit down, let's talk about the outcomes to keeping Brett and evicting Brett, and we'll decide from there. Ultimately, they both decided together to evict him, obviously. Um, but I think Kate is someone who gets it. I think you're right. I'm going for a 7 on Kate this week. Kate is someone that I'm like excited to see play.
And I think that's also totally fair. I'm looking at my scores. I think because of the lack of game talk in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
and the craziness of the end of week one, on average, I think my scores are going to be lower than they normally be just
Okay.
because I'm more unknown and like feel so like I like, but I think that's totally a fair score
Gotcha.
for Kate.
Logan.
Okay, Logan.
What are you gonna
So,
say?
so here's the thing. Let's talk about winning a first HOH.
Sorry.
On paper, people always say like, "Oh, it's a bad idea. You get blood on your hands, you're a target, yada yada yada." No, false, fake news. Winning the first HOH, I think, is literally the most crucial thing that you can do. And now that this idea is like started to be talked about more, just like not only like it, just like in the game of Big Brother as a whole, like it's becoming more known. Like winning the first HOH is a good thing. now that that's being known, it's like people think that because like, oh, because people will come to you and propose alliances and yay. So what Logan did was he won the first HOH and he was like, okay, people, come to me with the information and the thing. I'm like, no, 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 that's not how this works. You winning the first HOH is so crucial because it puts you in the position to build the structure and build the trust yourself. You have to do it though. And the thing with Logan is like literally talked like zero game with people, I felt like he
Yeah.
wasn't giving anyone
No,
anything.
no, he was not.
His HOH was run by Dalton. It was run by like truthfully, like he did not do anything. Peace and love. And then like at the end of it, when like the vote was like somewhat back and forth, he was like, "Oh, but people are going to target me." I'm like, "Logan, no one is going to target you. You did nothing." Like in the nicest way possible. This was not your move. Like you did not do this. This was not you. This was not you. This was not you.
Uh,
That being said
yeah,
though,
granted though, he's coming out of this week with no repercussions, I don't think,
no
from
backlash, no blood on his hands. Although he didn't present like safety and build, I think, trust with people, he did talk a good amount with people. And I think overall is one of the people, like, I think independent of if he was the first HOH or not, I think is one of the more social people that people get along with. Um, so like my score this week is going to be like reflected upon that aspect of his game and not anything to do with his HOH because like he practically wasn't, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um, like you could shoehorn anyone into being the HOH slot, and it's just like who Dalton is manipulating for the week. So with all that being said, I think he's actually in a very good spot. I think no one's targeting him. I think everyone likes him. I think lots of people want to work with him. I just think he has like a misjudgment as to like what's going on in the game and maybe like his placement within it. But overall, I feel good. I think he's going far. I'm going to give him the same score as I give Kate. I'm going to give him a 6.
I'm also going to give him a 6. I agree with everything you said. You took it away again. Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how the game progresses for him. I do think he's talked to a lot of people in that, like, people want to loop him into conversations and continue talking to him. I don't know how much those conversations will be game related conversations because he literally didn't give anything. But we'll see.
And that's the thing with so much of this cast. I'm sorry. I love you all. Quit the chit chat. I'm done with the small talk. Okay. I don't want to hear about any more damn cinnamon waffles. Okay.
Should we reenact? I'm Aaron.
No,
You're
no,
Sophia.
no.
Ring. No answer. Ring. No answer. Ring. No answer. Sophia rings. No answer. Why? Okay, we're calling each other back and forth. I need to talk to you. What is it? I made cinnamon waffles. Okay.
Like, okay, great. And that's just one example.
Yes, I didn't mean to just call.
I'm tired of getting to know you people. Play the game.
Granted, this is what we get for asking to be
I've
included
had
in the
enough.
conversation. But anyway, Maeve.
Okay, Maeve. This is the biggest, for me, Maeve is the biggest one on my mind where I need to separate week 1 and week 2. For those who don't know, we film the rankings after the eviction, ideally as soon as after the eviction as possible. For those that don't know, my car broke down on the night of the eviction. I got home super late. Steven was tired this morning and
Yeah, sorry, I went to bed at 3:30 and I get text from Scott at 6:50. I
what
understand.
time do you think I went to bed?
Probably not, probably earlier than me.
3:30,
What time did you leave? Sorry.
2:30.
Oh, really? I thought you left at like 1.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Um anyway, that being said, we do know a little bit of what has happened in week 2 so far. And like whose position has changed and whatnot. So talking explicitly about week 1 Maeve. Week 1 Maeve, I had my concerns. In the first couple of days,
First couple of hours.
she wasn't the most social. And that was a little nerve-wracking. The good news was the people that she did talk to loved her, but she didn't talk to a lot of people either. Um, I think Dalton was like over bombarding her with everything and his panic and stress that she was trying to be like, okay, deep breath, 1 sec, take a step back. Like she was trying to calm him down, but when it wasn't working, she was like, I can't do this. And I think like it turned her off for like a hot sec. And again, when I say turned her off, I don't mean like Emma and Ariel levels. Like she still is talking to people. She got to know people. People enjoy her, know that she's there, slash he, Maeve slash Zach. Um, and is yeah, so like it is just like the most honestly out of week one, I think Maeve is the person that I'm most confused about where her path forward was.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's clear to me in week two, but I don't want to talk about that yet. I think like that honestly like sums up most of my
I think
thought.
I started to see this though, even a few hours before the eviction yesterday.
I agree, but a few hours before the eviction was when I started when people all started being like, "Oh, we can talk to Zach. We like
That's
Zach."
that didn't just happen. I feel like a few hours before the eviction, though. I feel like people have been saying that they're really comfortable with Zach. I agree that it like kind of blew up a little bit more before the eviction, but I think it's she's always been a little favorable.
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
agree. I agree. Always been a little favorable for
yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna go with a 6 for Maeve.
Very nice. Um, Based off of week one, I am at a 5. But that being said, I'm excited at the future of Maeve in this game. And we'll talk about that in the next rankings video.
Tomorrow.
Probably not tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow, in all honesty. Oh, God.
Okay. Mackay.
Kai.
My guy Mackay. That's funny. Could that be his
My
BB?
Gemini twin.
Could that be his
Says that
comment?
every time we get on FaceTime. So shut
My,
up, Makai.
my guy Mackay.
Do
Um,
you start? Do you want me to start?
what'd you say?
Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Yeah, I can start. I think towards the beginning of the week in the first few day or two of the game, I think that I was a little worried for him. Obviously, he was talked about being initially nominated, and Logan said that initially that if he needed a new nominee, that would be someone who he would be considering. I think that in the first few days of the game, his conversations really went high, and he said hi to every single person, and that was his idea of forming conversations, which isn't
Literally the streamline of like
hi,
9:36
hi,
a.m.
hi.
Hey, 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 Makai and Sophia, Makai and Nusha, Makai and Nicole, Makai and Zach, Makai and Lo. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I think though, as the week went on, not that he really did more, but I think I got to see more of who he was and what his gameplay was going to be like. So I think I definitely grew on him as the week progressed, and obviously like obviously was not he didn't end up being a replacement nominee, and I don't even think actually by the time even before Brett was really brought up that he was really in consideration. I think Emma was up there still. I think other people were above him still.
Oh,
So
for the replacement, absolutely.
what'd you say?
For the replacement, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go?
Yeah, sure. I agree with so much of what you're saying right now. Yeah, just echoing the beginning. I think definitely like one of not that he like was what he definitely like was a very social person, but not in the right way. Like just saying hi isn't being social. Like he wasn't actually connecting with anyone. So that was like not good for me. And then he was almost like this close to being on the block, like also not great. Then he started FaceTiming people, and I was like, oh, okay. And then when the vote came around and people were talking to him, I thought it was going to be a nightmare of like he was just gonna like put his cards on the table, like tell people where he lied and things. He like convinced me for a sec that like, oh no, like he's not with Notion, like he's actually considering flipping.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh, okay, impressive, impressive. You got me. Um,
And I think something that people wouldn't expect either is that he has experience. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
But I think
absolutely.
I think that he will be underestimated as the game continues.
I think because he is definitely on the younger side of this cast, I feel like um def definitely underestimated for that reason. Um he seems like a very loyal player to the people that he's with. Like right now, I don't see him turning on Nosha, Teddy, or Simona. You know what I mean? Um, which I think is like crucial for him, and the fact that no one knows it, like I just don't think people know where he stands, and I think that'll lead him to a lot of information as well. So like I'm not feeling great about Makai because again, he's not being included in any of the structures, but I don't feel badly about Makai either.
Yeah. I'm going for a 5.
Um, awesome. Yeah, for me again, like I said earlier, I feel like my scores are going to be slightly lower this week. Just I think of how the week went and the lack of game talk as a whole. Um, those two things, in addition to Makai almost going up on the block, had me at a 4 for Makai this week. But
Fair.
we're in the same area.
Nicole. That's cute. That's cute.
So true. I love Nicole. I love Nicole so much. Um,
Queen.
I just think she's so funny. I think she's very smart. Um, my first pick, I stand by that.
Good pick.
Um, so that's all the good stuff. That's out of the way. Now the bad stuff. She was on the block. Uh-oh. That's not good in week 1. Back to the good side. She won the veto. Hooray. Um, she is going to be, I think, a competition threat to look out for. I think she's smart. Um, on day 1, because it was, oh yeah, her birthday, um, she didn't reach out to a lot of people, and that's why she landed on the block. Luckily for her, because she won the veto, I don't think she's someone that like is going to be a regular like returnee to the block. I think other people will become the regular pawns, which is good for her. Um, and I think she has started to build the social dynamics and networks of it. It was interesting to see in the vote. She was, I feel like, not left out of it, but it was like other people would strategize and they would come up with something and then they would let Nicole know about it and like they would talk about it with her. And not that that's a bad place to be in, but it's like just the bottom line is like she is not at the top of the totem pole right now in terms of flow of information, which isn't great. Um, that on top of the fact that she already was on the block is not fantastic. But that being said, I feel worse about other people as shown by my scores.
Yeah. I think that I agree with what you're saying. I think that being on the block, she could have found herself in a very precarious position if she stayed on the block this week. Granted, I did expect going into the veto that she was going to get taken down some way, shape, or form. But I think that if she stayed on the block, like depending on what Dalton's campaigns were and whatever was going to happen there, like she like had a non-zero chance of being evicted. So I also agree with you that I don't think that she's going to find herself as a regular on the block. And I am very excited to see where Nicole goes. So I'm giving her a 5.
And just as I did with Makai, I'm at a 4 for Nicole. So pretty much I just think I'm lower and more uneasy about this week. It left me shaken up. But yeah.
Cool. No shot. No shot. No shot.
Nosha, not Nasha. I don't know how anyone gets Nasha, but it's Nosha. My favorite intro to an intro video ever.
Wait, who is saying Oprah? What is happening? Okay, you want to go?
Sure.
We can pause them. We can pause them if you want.
Oh,
Let's just pause them. It's fine. I
yeah,
don't
that sounds good.
I don't want to mess with people's schedules. Um,
Wait, you start.
okay. Nosha, I think is someone who has been playing a little bit on the quieter side. And I think that that could become an asset for her for people to know that she's not just gonna run around and with a chicken like a chicken with her head cut off and spread information crazy and wildly. So I think that's a good attribute to have in the early days of the game that you're gonna keep and hold information. I also think that she is a social player. So she's quiet, but I think she's social as well, which sounds like the antithesis to that word. But I think that people enjoy talking to her who she has talked to. I just think she needs to talk to more people. Um, I also think that she's underratedly like could be underestimated as we continue the game. I've been hearing her conversations and like she doesn't say much, but like in chats, especially the house chat, but she like knows what she. I think she also is someone who knows what she's doing. I'm really excited to see like it's gonna have to take though like she's gonna have to like turn it on at some point. Like she's gonna have to like reach out, draw lines, and all that jazz. But you go.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying about Nosha. I think her relationship to Teddy is very, very crucial. I
Yeah, I
think her
didn't know about that.
with Kai is crucial. Um, and I think like them working as a unit is going to be great for her. Um, I think they have a great relationship with Logan, with Dalton. Take that for better or for worse. Um, so with that side of the house, it's great. With the other side of the house, I think she is probably the one that has the least connection though, and that does worry me compared to the people in her unit like Makai and Teddy and Logan, who definitely I would say are all more connected to the other side. Um, the only other thing that worries me with Nosha is how like seemingly unwilling she was to consider that like maybe Mira's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was very much like Mira said all this, and Nosha was immediately like, "Great, let's get Brett out." And as soon as anyone even was like, "Wait, something's not adding up. Why did Mira do this?" Nosha was kind of like, "Yeah, but Brett exposed it, so he got to go." And it's like, I don't know about that. So it just felt like a little too like I feel like we jumped the gun on some things rather than like whereas some people, and we'll get to them, like really accurately read the situation. I feel like she's taken everything that Dalton has said at very face value. And I think that could lead to problems down the road. So I don't feel badly about Nosha. I think she's in a good spot. But for me on a game level is where I actually like worry a little bit. So yeah,
I'm going for a 5.
that's where I am as well.
Oh, look at that.
Fives for Nosha.
All right. Great.
Actually, we pause here?
Yeah. Okay, we'll be back in a second. Actually, you don't have to wait at
It'll
all.
seem like no time.
Yeah. We're back. Hey, we're back again, but there's no time passed.
But so much happened that we're not going to talk about. Okay. Um, back to week one. Sean, I need to like turn off my phone. There's too much happening.
Not like crazy stuff happening.
I don't know. I just think it's funny that yeah, we'll get to it next week. Um, okay, Sean. I can start with Sean. Um, yeah, I won't talk about week two stuff yet. So this is just week one, Sean. Week one, Sean. Good socially, but not great.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, was in a similar spot to Aaron, where like was good at reaching out to people, and people were like, "Oh, we can use Sean," but then he isn't included in things. However, I feel that to a lesser extent than I do towards Aaron. Um, the great thing that I saw from Sean was he's just so smart. Like, there's very clearly with him and one other person that we have yet to talk about. This is what we mean when we say experience is helpful, because
Mm-hmm.
it's when he immediately is like, he was the first one, along with this other person that we'll get to, spoiler alert, next, to say like, yes, Brett exposed this, but why would Mira expose Brett? That doesn't make sense. Like Mira would have no motive to do that. The motive of I just wanted to let you know doesn't make sense, which means Mira is doing this for some either personal benefit or protection of herself. Like she has something with Ariel or like doesn't want other like they called Mira out immediately.
Mhm.
Um and that was so huge. Um Once the vote got going, he was included in a lot more, which made me feel good. The only downside was when the vote actually did happen, he was one of two votes to be on the wrong side, which again, when I locked in my rankings, I didn't know what the aftermath of the week is. So that is definitely a factor of mine in my ranking here. So with all that being said, I am at a 4 for Sean this week, but it's like it's a 4 parentheses positive where I see it going up. Because I think Sean is a great player that just needs to advance his position socially.
Sure. Um, Honestly, I will say props to Sean. He is doing better than I thought he was going to be doing.
He's
And
killing
no
it.
shade. It was just after his intro video, I was worried that was going to set a bad tone for him. Um, but I think he is doing better than I thought he was doing. And I know that I was feeling this way before the eviction. Um, I think that really towards the eviction when he was starting to talk with Simona about how things were going and the vote and just him having his own brain, which sounds so silly, but like him having his own like thoughts and willing to go against the grain is something that really sticks out for me. Not only that, but him having the ability to go against the grain and have a rational, level-headed conversation with someone about it and agree with them slash sway some people, I think is really important. I'm gonna continue my trend of I'm going with a 5 for Sean.
Yeah. And just to point something out, like what you said, like his ability to go against the grain and like push the limits, like at the end of the day, someone who doesn't do that might have a statistically higher chance of making it farther into the game, but that person generally is not going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the way that Sean's playing, I think is going to give him a better shot to win and have a case in the end that he actually did things.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it could possibly get in the way of him at some point as well. But if you're not playing to win, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thesis on Sean. I'm very excited to talk about. I'm very excited to see how the rest of this week plays out, where the house structure sits, and where Sean sits in it at the end of this next week. Because I think he's going to be one to watch this season, despite my lower ranking of him this week.
Mm-hmm. Simona.
I am a Simona Stan account. This is who I said it about earlier. Um, Picked her early in the draft. Experience is key. She clearly knows what she's doing. She's in good socially with so many people, but no one's really talking about how she's good socially with a lot of people. She was literally like, when she heard everything that was going on, she was like, I trust my gut. I had a good relationship with Brett. I don't feel like Brett was playing me. And she was correct. Brett was not playing her. Brett said multiple times, especially in the early stage of the game, Simona's my number one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when all this happened, Simona was absolutely right to be like, Brett, this is sus. I believe that this happened, but you tell me what happened as well. Very quickly realized this is being spun out of proportion by Mira, and Mira is doing it for some reason that she doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And she also pinpointed like who is with like I think Simona, despite maybe her not like knowing it or at least expressing it to other people, knows where a lot of the house lies. She knows that Teddy, Anosha, and Logan are one side, and she knows that Kate, Nicole, and Zach are another, and she's pulling in Sean in the like she is, I think, the one that is going to be shaping it. Especially heading into week 2 as well, which again we'll talk about next week. Um, by far, just of like game awareness, social ability, strategicness, like everything, Simona is, I think, based off of week 1, the number one player to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if that sticks. It's happened before where the number one player to watch in week 1 has just gone on to win the game. They flamed out. It switched up. So I'm very interested to see her trajectory. But right now, I feel very, very strong about Simona. I'm starting off with a 7 for Simona.
I have the same thoughts as you. I'm also giving her a 7. I think she's one to watch out for, but not one that people are watching out for currently. So,
And the thing is, like, the fact that Simona has experience is like one of the reasons why I picked her so early was like I think on other seasons of that we've done, she walks in and a lot of people know her and know she's a threat, and it's a very different game that she has to play.
mhm,
A lot of people don't know her personally because they haven't played with her, but a
mhm,
lot of people have been like, "Oh my gosh, Simona, I recognize you from all the games you play. I'm
mhm,
so excited to play with you." Or, "Oh my gosh, Simona, I've heard from my friends how much experience you have." So like, it's not unknown that Simona has experience, but that's turning into people trusting her more and like wanting her advice than them being like, we need to target Simona. We'll
mhm.
see how it plays out long term, but for now, it's a great thing. So I'm just, I'm so, I love Simona.
Me too. Me too. Okay. Sophia. Love. I love Sophia. Now we're talking about the game. Um, Sophia's contribution to the gameplay has been her cinnamon waffles.
Um,
I think that she had a I think that she had a connection to Britt. Obviously, going to the same school, I think there was a connection there. That was one of her probably a good connection that she had. Probably one of her stronger ones, right?
I'd agree with that.
So losing that isn't great. What do you have to say about her? I'll piggyback off what you said.
Yeah, I really like Sophia. I think she is like, she certainly is around and she is like, this is going to sound mean. So just like, I think in her mind, she is playing the game.
Mm,
And she is playing the game. She is
she's
talking to
not like
like she is talking like I want to establish that she is talking to people, she is making relationships and things. The thing that isn't happening is like let's talk about the game.
mhm. And I
And
don't
where
think she knows that she has to do that.
exactly. And like people
Like fine.
will occasionally come up to her and be like, "Hey, can we talk game for a second?" She's like, "Yes, let's do it."
Yeah.
But like, you can also initiate that. Um
I've already told Aaron and Camilo that out of the three of them, she's already number one in my eyes. But
Definitely above Aaron. I'll be interested to see how she ranks up against Camila. Um, but at least comparing Sophia to someone like Kate, who I feel like came into the game maybe similarly ish.
mhm,
They're both being very social. They're both here to like meet people, make friends for the experience. Kate has the added on, like, and now let me also talk game with these relationships.
mhm.
And that just hasn't happened with Sophia yet. Um, so she's not someone that I feel like would be in immediate danger, but she's not someone that I totally see being scooped up into like a group or something. Like I just don't know what it'll take to get her involved in the gameplay aspect of everything. So with that being said, for this week for Sophia, I for those reasons on top of losing Brett, I'm at a 4.
I'm gonna start off with a 5. Lots of fives this week. I was not expecting me giving a lot of fives this week, but here we are. I am we're gonna see soon if Sophia has the potential to win the game. I think. I think we're gonna see in like the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably sooner. Because if she doesn't start like being at least not necessarily a forefront of strategic gameplay, just someone who talks about it, I think, and not a nobody in a lot of people's eyes. That's what I think people are saying. Um, but yes, I think we're gonna find out soon. Teddy,
Teddy. Um, do you want to start on Teddy or do you want me to start on Teddy?
you can start.
Okay, Teddy's someone that has confused me more than others in the game as well in terms of where he stands. But like in a good way, because it's like very early on, there were a lot of positives. He was talking to people, and immediately to Logan, was like the only like Logan was like waiting for people to be like, come to me with alliances and nomination ideas and all this stuff, and I'll just sit back. That wasn't gonna happen. Teddy was like the one person that was like, when Logan was expressing to Teddy like, oh, this isn't happening, and Teddy was like, I mean, I'll take an alliance. Like that's
Mhm.
what you have. Like you know what I mean. So like Teddy is actively doing things to advance himself in the game, and I think is actively talking to people on a game level more than who I would say his closest allies are in Makai and Nosha.
Mhm.
Um,
I agree with that.
I think also of the three after last week, I would say he is the least likely to touch the block, at least in the immediate future. Um,
I'd agree with that too.
and I would say at least compared to Nosha, I felt that he at least a little more was considering like, oh, maybe Mira is the problem, and maybe it's not Brett. And at the end of the day, still decided like, no, we need to, but like at least it seemed like he considered it for a hot second.
Mhm.
So like with all that being said, I do feel I was about to use past tense. I felt good about Teddy. I still feel good about Teddy.
Mhm.
Um, so but the score that I logged in for Teddy after week one was a 6. Um, I think that he was well liked socially, was in it, considered things. I'm interested to see Teddy's path forward.
Interesting. I'm actually going for another 5. 5 for Teddy. I think that I mean I feel like I've said this about everybody, but I feel like he has potential to really run this game. I said in the draft too. I actually didn't say that about everybody, but I said this in the draft. I low key see him potentially becoming like a mastermind of the season. I think that I think that when the big targets are taken out, Teddy's going to be the one to rise from the ashes and take control. We'll see. But I love what he's doing so far, and I'm excited to see what he has moving forward.
And finally, Will. Will is someone to really talk about this week. He was such a huge part of this week.
Uh-huh.
Um, day one, he's probably one of the few people that I would say has consistently been a part of the narrative, whether he's known it or not. Um, day one, I thought he had one of the strongest day ones
Mm-hmm.
alongside in terms of talking, meeting people, getting people to like him and strategize with him early on. I thought that was great. Um, he was in the groups, then he got exposed alongside Brett. However, because Maeve picked him in week one, Dalton was not going to throw him under the bus. He was going to throw Brett. So he had the protection there and was able to rebuild from it. Really, truthfully, by luck of the draw. Like, had it been flipped, this painting would have been painted of Will, and Will would be the one out the door right now. Um, because multiple people, namely Simona and Sean, the people that we said were onto this, were like, why is Brett at fault, not Will?
Oh, can I pause this for a second? Sorry. And we're back again.
We're back. Oh, we're gonna have some fun things to talk about in the next video, but you're just gonna have to wait and see for that. Um, back to Will in week one. A very
One. Why are we still
relevant
talking about
person at
that
this
shit?
hour. Um, Will, I think, did the best job that he could connecting with people in the early game and recovering from what happened in, I say, the late game, as if it wasn't day 3 and 4. So I think Will's path forward is clear, and I think he knows it and how to rebuild. And weirdly enough, I think walking out of the week, like people's eyes are like more on like Kate weirdly than like Will. Like I haven't heard Will's name floated around. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
stick with what my score was at the end of the week. And that is a 4 for Will from me due to everything that happened.
I'm
Not
also going
including
for a 4 on
Will.
Will. Yeah. I agree. He was put in a really tricky spot this week. Again, not like how I said with Brett, like not really to his own fault, like kind of, but like not really. Um, he did lose a really good number for him, and going into the week, I think that he was left with some people. not a lot of people. So, cool.
Very nice. Well, heading out of this week, Simona is currently our top rated player, which is at least not a surprise to me, based off of how she played this last week. Right behind her, we've got Kate and Logan. Very excited to see what the three of them do. Down at the bottom of the people that are left, unfortunately, Ariel.
Good night.
At least before any of this week happened, if you had to ask me who would be going home at the end of this week, at the end of this upcoming week, I would say Ariel. We still don't know everything that is to happen, so we'll see if that ends up happening or if it is something crazy and different. Right behind Ariel is looks like Emma, which again not surprising, as people literally did not know she was in the game. And followed by Will and Dalton, aka Mira, or the other way around. I don't really know, as they were in the center of the drama. And that's what we've got for week one. A crazy week one, a weird week one,
A big week one.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever have like it was
This
weird.
was the biggest week one I think we've ever had.
But it was weird for the amount for how big it was, the lack of like gameplay that there was.
Yes.
Like it's just bizarre. It's so weird.
Yes.
Whereas like I feel like season 10, which is also a big week one, was the opposite, where it was all gameplay talk
And
none of the like moments and fun of it.
So true.
Anyway, we'll see you at the next rankings, which is probably going to be tomorrow night after the second eviction of the season.
And Maeve's HOH.
And what?
And Maeve's HOH competition.
Oh, I thought you said and Maeve's the HOH. I was like, no, she's not. Okay, bye.